Welcome back. In this new video is the first one of this new year, 2026. I want to share with you a love story. It's the story of Tatiana Celia Kennedy Schlossberg and George Moran, a love story that showed to the entire world what partnership, real partnership, truly partnership looks like. And this is the extraordinary story I want to share with you. Sorry. Tatiana Celia Kennedy Schlossberg and George Moran, a love story that showed the world what true partnership looks like. In the late 2000s, two undergraduate students crossed paths at Yale University, neither knowing that they were about to build one of the most profound love stories the Kennedy family would ever witness. Tatiana Celia Kennedy Schlossberg, born May 5th, 1990, was studying history when she met George Moran, a fellow student who rowed the crew and shared her intellectual curiosity and commitment to making a difference in the world. George grew up in Greenwich, Connecticut, the son of Garrett Moran, founder of the nonprofit Year Up, and Mary Penniman, treasurer of the Natural Resources Defense Council Board, raised in a family that valued service just as much as the Kennedy legacy valued public duty. Sorry. Their romance blossomed quietly over several years, away from the media spotlight that followed Tatiana's famous family. Built on shared academic passions, late-night conversation about environmental justice, and medicine, and deep mutual respect that would become the foundation of their entire lives together. On September 9, 2017, exactly 5 years after Tatiana graduated from Yale with her history degree, they married. An intimate ceremony at her family cherished Martha's Vineyard estate, the same magical property a beloved grandmother, Jackie Kennedy Onassis, had a treasure where former Massachusetts Governor David Patrick officiated their vows as the sun set over the Atlantic Ocean. But by then, George had completed his undergraduate degree and was pursuing his medical education at Columbia University's Vangelos College of Physicians and Surgeons, where he would specialize in urology and become an attending urologist and assistant professor, while Tatiana carved her own path as an award-winning environmental journalist for the New York Times and author of the groundbreaking book about climate change. In 2022, they welcomed their first child, a son named Edwin Moran, in honor of Tatiana's father, designer Edwin Schlossberg, and their joy multiplied as they discovered the profound love that comes with parenthood, building a quiet life in New York filled with the simple pleasures of family dinners, weekend visits to Martha's Vineyard, and dreams of watching their children grow. 2 years later, in May 2004, Tatiana gave birth to their second child, a daughter named Josephine. But just hours after delivery, doctor noticed a white blood cell count was alarmingly high, and George, who was then a urology resident at the hospital, immediately began calling friends who were primary care doctors and OBGYNs, desperately hoping the diagnosis would be something treatable, something temporary. When the result came back revealing acute myeloid leukemia with rare mutation called inversion 3, they were shattered into a nightmare they never imagined. But George never wavered, not even for a single moment, as Tatiana underwent 18 months of chemotherapy, bone marrow transplant from her sister Rose, CAR T cell therapy, and countless clinical trials. George slept on hospital floors, talked to insurance companies and doctors when she couldn't bear to, rushed home to put their toddler and infant to bed, and returned with a favorite dinner, never complaining, even when the steroid made a rage about something as small as preferring Canada Dry ginger ale over Schweppes. In a devastating November 2025 New York essay that broke hearts across the nation, and also, I would add, across the world. Tatiana called her husband perfect and wrote that she felt so cheated, and said that she couldn't keep living the wonderful life she had with this kind, funny, handsome genius she managed to find words that captured both the depth of their love and the cruel injustice of terminal illness, stealing away a future they had built together so carefully. Tatiana wrote with heartbreaking honesty about how a 3-year-old son, Edwin, might have a few faint memories of her, but a daughter, Josephine, just 18 months old, would never remember her mother at all, and how she never really got the chance to change her daughter's diaper, give her a bath, or feed her because she started treatment immediately after giving birth. Through every devastating moment, every failed treatment, every new complication, George remained a rock, an advocate, a partner, in the truest sense of the word, demonstrating the kind of unconditional love and devotion that most people only read about in novels. He balanced being a full-time physician, a single parent to two babies who needed stability, and a husband caring for his dying wife, somehow finding strength none of them knew existed, all while watching the love of his life slip away despite medical intervention available. On December 30, 2025, Tatiana passed away at the age of 35, just over a month after, say, revealed a terminal diagnosis, surrounded by George, their children, and parents, Caroline Kennedy and Edwin Schlossberg, and their sibling Rose and Jack, leaving behind a husband who had loved her with every fiber of his being from their first day at Yale to a final breath. What began in a college classroom blossomed into a love story that showed the world what a true partnership looks like, not in the glamorous moment, but in the hospital room, the sleepless night, the gentle care during impossible suffering, proving that sometimes the greatest love stories aren't measured by their length but by their depth, their authenticity, and the unwavering commitment two people make to stand together no matter what darkness comes their way. And this is the incredible, moving story of this couple I want to share with you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.